Here on the file system, I have an HTML file that contains the markup we saw in this slide earlier. Only this markup doesn't contain any presentation information, so the page renders in a rather plain fashion, just black text on a white background. What I'd like to do is add some color to this page. And one way to do that would be to go into the head tag of this page and add a style definition inside of a style tag. This style type is text/CSS, and it has inside of it a style rule. We'll be talking about rules later in this module, but this rule tells the browser go out and find the body element and set its background color to blanched almond. If we save that file and refresh the browser, we can see that change has taken effect. Now, this approach to adding styles to a web page is effective somewhat in separating the presentation rules from your content, because now at least all the presentation rules are in one place. And what we'll see as we go through this module is that you can use these style rules to influence different elements in a page. So we could also change the paragraph tag and so forth that's in this page. But it does miss one of the advantages of using a true external cascading style sheet file, and that is being able to reuse these style rules throughout a website. So I'm not going to take this approach. I'm going to remove this style, and instead I'm going to open up a .css file. This is the common extension for a cascading style sheet. We're just going to open it in Notepad++, which is a text editor, because CSS files are just text files. Inside the style sheet, I'm going to put the same style that we had earlier, which is going to tell the browser to set the background color of the body to a specific color. But the way things are set up right now, this isn't going to work simply because the page that is loaded doesn't know anything about this style sheet. What I also need to do is come into the HTML page and provide a link that will point the browser to pick up this style sheet. That's done using a link tag. The rel attribute specifies the relationship between this document and the link. We're telling the browser that this is a style sheet for the current document. The place to go get it is in the same relative place. Just look for something called stylesheet.css. But of course, you can specify an entire HTTP address here. And the MIME type of this document is going to be text/CSS. So with that link in place and a style defined inside of our style sheet, what we can now do is have all of our presentation information defined in a separate file, a CSS file, and we also can include that CSS file in as many web pages as we want. We can also put our styles across many different CSS files and have multiple links in here to pull in different style sheets from different locations. Since this web page is relatively simple, we're going to stick with one style sheet because we can define multiple style rules inside of the style sheet. For instance, we could also add a rule that says for all paragraph tags, the font size for these paragraph tags should be larger than normal. Let's save that and watch the text carefully. As I refresh, it becomes a little bit larger. So these are two quick and simple demonstrations of what you can do inside an external style sheet with style rules and styles, and how you can influence the presentation of your content just using these style rules. And now that we know a little bit about how CSS works, let's dive into some specifics.